The Dipset world has been flipped upside down after Cameron dropped what he calls the real audio. And it's aimed straight at Chrissy Lampkin. The internet is on fire. Fans are losing their minds. And Jim Jones. His reaction has everyone saying they've never seen him this unhinged before. What was supposed to be another ordinary day in the rap world turned into a loud cultural earthquake when Cameron went live, hinting that he had proof Chrissy had been moving foul behind Jim's back for years. Hours later, audio surfaced, muffled but clear enough to set the internet ablaze. In it, voices alleged to be Chrissy's can be heard saying things that nobody expected, fueling suspicions of betrayal and backroom deals that stretch far beyond love and hip-hop. Already, #ChrissyExposed and #JimJonesMeltdown are trending worldwide. Fans are dissecting every second of the tape. Celebrities are chiming in with cryptic reactions. And the Dipset legacy itself is under a microscope. But the craziest part? Insiders are whispering, this is just the first tape and the rest could change everything we thought we knew about Cam, Chrissy, and Jim forever. The hip-hop world woke up to chaos when Cameron, the unapologetic Dipset legend known for stirring the pot, dropped what he called the real audio. And this time, the target wasn't just another rapper or rival. Chrissy Lampkin, longtime partner of Jim Jones, the woman who stood at the center of some of love and hip-hop's most iconic drama. What started as a cryptic tease turned into a full-blown firestorm, dragging Dipset history, reality TV baggage, and years of rumors into the spotlight. It all began with a late-night Instagram live. Cameron, sipping from a red cup, smirked into the camera as tens of thousands of viewers tuned in. He didn't waste time. "Y'all keep talking like I don't know what's been going on," he said, his tone dripping with confidence. "But I got proof. Real audio. And once you hear this, you've gone, look at Chrissy, way different." The comments exploded instantly. "What audio drop? Itkila, not Chrissy." Within minutes, clips of Cam's words were circulating on Twitter. Fans speculated wildly. Was this about money, infidelity, betrayal inside Dipset? The anticipation hit a fever pitch when Cam ended the live abruptly, saying only, "Y'all ain't ready for the whole thing yet?" But by morning, the so-called real audio had surfaced. A muffled recording, less than 2 minutes long, but clear enough to set the internet on fire. In it, a voice alleged to be Chrissy's could be heard saying, "Jim don't need to know everything. Half the time he don't even ask. As long as the money moving, he happy." The line was like dynamite. Fans replayed it on loop, dissecting every syllable. Chrissy admitting she had been making moves behind Jim's back. Was she talking about money, loyalty, or something deeper? Whatever the context, the damage was instant. Twitter erupted with the hashtag #ChrissyExposed, while TikTok creators rushed to post dramatic reenactments of the leaked line. "She said it like Jim a pawn," one user declared. "That's cold." Instagram gossip pages flooded timelines with posts captioned, "Cam wasn't lying. Chrissy really said this?" The reactions were divided but brutal. Some fans dragged Chrissy mercilessly, accusing her of using Jim for clout and power. Others defended her, arguing the audio could have been spliced, manipulated, or even fabricated by Cam to stir the pot. But regardless of which side fans took, the buzz was unstoppable. And then came Jim Jones' reaction. He didn't post a statement. He didn't sit for an interview. He went live, and it was wild. Eyes bloodshot, voice trembling with both anger and disbelief. Jim unleashed on everyone watching. "Y'all believe anything? I'll sit around waiting for somebody to try and tear my family down. Cam know what he doing, man? He know how to get attention. But this right here, this crossed the line." The comments flooded in faster than he could read. Jim heated FR. He know it's real. If it was fake, he'd laugh, not cry. But Jim wasn't laughing. His voice cracked as he defended Chrissy. "That's my woman. It's my life partner. Y'all really think she out here playing me? Stupid if you think Cam know more about my house than I do." He shook his head, visibly frustrated, before abruptly ending the live. Fans were left stunned. The clip spread instantly, with many pointing out that Jim looked broken and more emotional than ever before. For some, his meltdown was proof that the audio had struck a nerve. For others, it was a sign he was standing by Chrissy no matter what. Either way, the story had detonated. The industry began to weigh in. Funk Flex dropped a cryptic tweet. "Audio don't lie. Tag kill a season." Menno commented under a gossip blog, "Stay out my lane, but I told y'all years ago." Even Love and Hip Hop alumni couldn't resist. Erica Mena posted a popcorn emoji. Kimbella tweeted, "Not surprised one bit." The wave of reactions only fueled the fire. And then came the so-called insider leaks. One blogger claimed to have received direct messages from someone close to Cameron, saying the leaked snippet was just the first part. According to this source, Cam had hours of recordings from past phone calls and interactions involving Chrissy, recordings that allegedly revealed not just shady comments, but full conversations about money, loyalty, and manipulation. The mere suggestion that more tapes existed sent fans into overdrive. "If this is just the start, the next one gonna end her career," one fan tweeted. "Jim better brace himself." Another wrote, "Cam playing chess, he dropping bombs piece by piece." Chrissy, meanwhile, remained silent. No tweets, no Instagram posts, okay? No statements, just silence. And that silence became a story of its own. She hiding, fans claimed. She guilty. Others defended her. She don't owe us nothing. Y'all eating up Cam's drama like sheep. But the silence didn't last long. Late that night, an alleged text exchange leaked to a blog reportedly between Chrissy and a friend. In it, she allegedly wrote, "Cam been holding grudges for years. He ain't got nothing new, just old dirt twisted. Not even entertaining him." Fans weren't convinced. Some pointed out that the wording sounded defensive, almost panicked. Others speculated the texts could be fake. Either way, the narrative had already taken hold. Chrissy was cornered, Cam was holding the cards. Cam was unraveling in public. And then, just when the internet thought it had seen enough, another bombshell surfaced. A new account on Twitter posted a chilling claim. There was a second audio clip, longer, clearer, and far more damaging. This time, Chrissy allegedly mentioned moves she made that Jim wouldn't understand and that Cam knew too much about. The post ended with a cryptic warning, "Next tape dropping soon." Cam ain't even started yet. The fandom froze. If the first tape caused Jim's meltdown, what would the second do? How much deeper could this feud go? Okay? And most importantly, how long before Dipset itself got dragged into the line of fire? The cliffhanger was set. The world braced for part 2 of the scandal, and everyone knew it was only going to get uglier. The countdown to the next tape had begun. The dust from the first audio leak hadn't even settled when the second bombshell detonated. And this time, it wasn't just speculation. It was undeniable, unedited, and far more dangerous than anyone expected. At exactly 11:45 p.m., a mysterious Twitter account created only hours earlier under the handle @TapeLeeKZ posted a link with the caption, "This is what Cam was talking about. Chrissy can't deny this one." The tweet included a 42-second audio clip that instantly spread like wildfire. Within 10 minutes, it had been reposted thousands of times. And before the hour was over, #ChrissyTape2 was trending globally. The audio was clearer than the first. No muffled background, no chopped distortions. The voice alleged to be Chrissy's was sharp, direct, and damning in the clip. She could be heard saying, "Jim don't even understand the moves I make. Cam knows what's up. I kept Jim out of it for a reason, because if he knew, he'd mess it up." The room collectively gasped. This wasn't some vague comment about money or keeping the peace. This was Chrissy allegedly admitting she was deliberately keeping things from Jim while looping Cam in on the details. The implications were brutal. Was Chrissy confiding in Cam behind Jim's back? Was she making deals, power moves, or worse, betrayals? The internet lit up instantly. Memes, reaction videos, and breakdown threads flooded every corner of Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. One viral TikTok showed side-by-side clips. Chrissy on Love and Hip Hop saying, "I hold Jim down. I'm always by his side," followed by the leaked audio where she suggested hiding things from him. The caption read, "The math ain't mathing." Jim Jones' name trended right alongside Chrissy's. Fans demanded to know how he would respond. Would he continue to defend Chrissy like he did after the first leak? Or would this second tape finally break him? Meanwhile, Kamran added fuel to the fire without saying a word. He posted a cryptic Instagram story, a chessboard with one piece knocked over. No caption, no explanation. It's just an image. But fans knew exactly what it meant. Cam was playing the long game, and in his mind, Chrissy was already in checkmate. The reactions from inside the industry were even more explosive than before. Joe Budden went on his podcast and said bluntly, "That's not a good look. Your girl talking like that about you? About your moves? And Cam is in the loop. That's a betrayal." Charlemagne Thaw God chimed in on The Breakfast Club, saying, "We don't know if it's real, but if it is, Jim gotta face some truths." That's a tough pill to swallow. Even Love and Hip Hop stars started inserting themselves. Kimbella tweeted, "Told y'all, but they called me messy." Yandi posted a story with the eyes emoji and the caption, "Queens move differently." Fans dissected that line for hours, debating if it was shade aimed at Chrissy or just a generic post. Either way, it added gasoline to the fire. The chaos reached a fever pitch when Jim went live again, but this time, his tone was different. Gone was the fiery anger. Instead, he looked defeated, his voice low, almost resigned. "I see what's going on," he muttered, staring directly into the camera. "Y'all want me to fold? Y'all want me to go against the people I love? But I ain't gonna give y'all the satisfaction. Chrissy's my woman. That's my family. I don't care what tapes Cam got. I don't care what he play. No, it's real." But as he said those words, fans couldn't help but notice the pain etched on his face. His eyes darted around, his jaw clenched, his voice cracking. It didn't sound like a man fully in control. It sounded like someone trying to convince himself as much as the audience. The comments were brutal. Jim lying to himself. That tape broke him. Cam got him by the throat. And then came the third blow. Screenshots began circulating from an alleged group chat involving Dipset associates. In the messages, one user claimed that Chrissy and Cam had been close for years and that Jim always turned a blind eye. Another alleged message claimed Cam warned Jim before, he just never listened. Were these screenshots real? Nobody knew. But they spread like wildfire across social media, feeding the narrative that there was more to Chrissy and Cam's history than anyone ever admitted. Theories exploded. Some fans argued this was all just Cam's revenge for old Dipset beefs. Others speculated that Chrissy and Cam might have had their own private dealings, financial or otherwise, that Jim was never part of. The silence from Chrissy grew louder by the hour. No denials, no clarifications, not even a vague post about haters. Her social media remained a ghost town, which only made fans assume the worst. One viral tweet summed up the sentiment perfectly. "If somebody leaking fake audios about me, I'm speaking up immediately. Chrissy, quiet." And that's scary. Meanwhile, Cam leaned even harder into the chaos. On his Instagram Live, he smirked as fans begged him to release the full tape. "I told y'all," he said, his voice calm but cutting. "That was just a snippet. There's hours of this. Y'all ain't even ready." The chat went insane. Drop the full Cam cooking. Jim done. But Cam didn't budge. He ended the live with a chilling promise. The next one. That's the nail in the coffin. The music industry was now holding its breath. This wasn't just about love and hip-hop drama anymore. This was about the integrity of Dipset, one of hip-hop's most iconic collectives. If Cam and Jim's personal lives were imploding publicly, how much longer before it spilled over into their legacy, their music, their brotherhood? But the wildest twist of all came from an unexpected voice. An alleged insider, someone claiming to have worked closely with Chrissy during her love and hip-hop run, gave an anonymous interview to a gossip podcast. In it, they dropped a shocking claim. Chrissy always had her own plays. Jim was the face, but she moved the strings. And yeah, Cam knew. They talked more than Jim ever realized. That statement shook the internet to its core. True, it meant Chrissy wasn't just keeping secrets, she was running operations behind Jim's back with Cam's knowledge. Suddenly, the idea of loyalty, respect, and trust inside Dipset was shattered. The stage was now set for the biggest question yet. Would Cam release the full tapes? And if he did, could Jim and Chrissy's relationship and the Dipset brotherhood itself survive the fallout? As midnight approached, Cam posted one final cryptic message, a black screen with white letters reading, "Tomorrow." The world froze. Tomorrow meant more audio. Tomorrow meant more revelations. Tomorrow meant the scandal wasn't even close to finished. Fans braced themselves, knowing the third tape could either confirm every suspicion or destroy everything in its path. The word tomorrow wasn't just a tease, it was a countdown. From the moment Kamran dropped that single post, the internet erupted into a frenzy of speculation. Every fan, every blog, every gossip page marked their calendars, setting alarms for midnight. What Cam promised wasn't just another snippet, it was the full tape. And when the clock struck 12, he delivered Cam's single quotes raw and went live, tens of thousands of viewers flooding in within minutes. His face filled the screen, calm and collected, sipping from a red cup like nothing was out of the ordinary. He let the anticipation build, scrolling through comments, smirking as fans begged him to play it. Then, without warning, he pressed play. The tape began with a familiar voice, Chrissy's unmistakable, undeniable. This time, there was no muffling, no distortion. Her words rang out crisp and sharp, cutting through the silence like a blade. "I told Cam straight up, Jim, don't need to know everything. Half the deals I made them because I knew Cam could handle it. Jim just gets emotional. That's why I keep it quiet. Cam understands business, Jim don't." The room went silent. Viewers froze. This wasn't just shade. It wasn't just private frustration. This was Chrissy openly confessing that she trusted Cam with decisions more than her own man. And worse, she admitted to actively cutting Jim out of the loop. But it didn't stop there. The tape rolled on. "You think I care if Jim finds out? He won't do nothing. He'll huff and puff, but at the end of the day, he needs me. Tam knows it too. That's why he lets me talk like this." Cam respects power. Jim just talks about it. The live chat went nuclear. Thousands of comments flew across the screen every second. Chrissy done. Jim looks weak. RN. Cam the villain or the genius? The full audio lasted 6 excruciating minutes. And by the time it ended, the damage was irreparable. Cam leaned back, grinning. "Y'all wanted the truth? There it go. I told y'all I don't gotta lie. This the real Chrissy." He ended the live right there, leaving fans in stunned silence. Within minutes, the tape was everywhere. Twitter threads dissected every second. TikTokers uploaded reaction videos, with shocked faces, and Instagram blogs slapped breaking on every frame of the transcript. Hashtag Chrissy Exposed topped trending worldwide, but the real explosion came from Jim Jones himself. Just 30 minutes after the leak, Jim went live again, and this time he was furious. "You think you got me? You think that's gone? Break me. Cam, you a clown. You been a clown? And Chrissy, we gone talk. But one thing I ain't gone let y'all do is play with my name." I've been holding this down for decades. Dipset is me. Don't ever forget that." His voice cracked with rage, his fists slamming on the table as he shouted. But fans weren't convinced. The comments scrolled mercilessly. He hurt Fr. Chrissy embarrassing him live on audio. This man fighting ghosts. And then, in a move nobody saw coming, Chrissy finally broke her silence. She posted to Instagram, a black background with white text. "When people can't control you, they control the narrative. Don't believe everything you hear. Love always wins, always wins." But fans weren't buying it. "Sis, that's your voice. That ain't no narrative. That's facts. Love don't sound like betrayal." Her comment section turned into a war zone, with thousands dragging her for dodging the issue. Instead of addressing the tape head-on, meanwhile, insiders claimed Jim and Chrissy had a screaming match behind closed doors. One alleged neighbor told a gossip page, "You could hear them through the walls. Jim was yelling, Chrissy was crying. Sounded like the end of something." As the firestorm grew, the industry itself began to fracture. Dipset affiliates started taking sides. Freaky Zeke tweeted, "Some things should have stayed private. That's all I'ma say." Joel Santana remained quiet, but posted a picture of himself with Jim, captioned, "Loyalty over everything." Fans instantly interpreted it as shade toward Cam. But the chaos didn't stop with Dipset. Rappers from every corner weighed in. 50 Cent, never one to miss a chance at trolling, posted a meme of Jim with the caption, "When your girl and your man closer than you think." Snoop Dogg shook his head on IG Live saying, "Man, this messy. I don't like it." Cam Wilden, Chrissy Wilden and Jim caught in the middle. And then came the nuclear reaction. A third-party blog released alleged court documents, suggesting financial ties between Chrissy and Cam that Jim was never listed on. Property deals, business ventures, hidden investments. Were they real? Were they fabricated? Nobody knew. But the timing was perfect and devastating. Fans began to question if the audio was just the tip of a much deeper betrayal. Theories went insane. Was Chrissy secretly building with Cam behind Jim's back for years? Was Cam exposing her out of revenge or to protect his own name? Or, as some Wild fans claimed, was this all one giant setup to destroy Dipset once and for all? Through it all, Jim spiraled. His posts grew darker, more emotional. On Twitter, he wrote, "They always want to break a king. But remember, the king got soldiers too." Fans worried the situation was pushing him to the edge. Meanwhile, Chrissy disappeared completely. No appearances, no lives, no responses. Just silence. And the longer she stayed quiet, the more guilty the world assumed she was. The tension reached an unbearable high when Cam went live one final time. He didn't drop another tape. He didn't show receipts. He just looked into the camera and said one chilling sentence, "You think this is bad? Wait till the real truth come out." The internet froze. The real truth? What could possibly be worse than Chrissy openly disrespecting Jim on tape, hiding deals, and leaning on Cam instead? If there was more, if Cam was holding back the darkest card of all, then the story wasn't over. Not by a long shot. And with that, Cam ended the live. No further explanation. No timeline. Just that one line, and the world left hanging. Desperate to know what came next, the Dipset legacy stood in flames. Jim's relationship teetered on the edge, and Chrissy's reputation hung by a thread. But if Cam was telling the truth, if there really was a deeper revelation waiting in the shadows, then the next chapter wasn't just going to shake the internet. It was going to break it. The question now was simple, but terrifying. What is the real truth Cam's holding? And who will survive when it finally drops? And there you have it, the Dipset empire shaken like never before. Cameron holding the internet hostage with audio that nobody thought would ever surface. Chrissy's reputation in flames, and Jim Jones caught in the crossfire of betrayal. humiliation, and explosive secrets that refuse to die down. But here's the thing. If Cam is telling the truth, that there's an even bigger revelation waiting in the shadows, then what we've seen so far is nothing compared to what's coming. This wasn't the end, it was only the beginning. The streets are buzzing, insiders are whispering, and fans are demanding answers. Did Chrissy and Cam build something behind Jim's back for years? Is Dipset on the verge of collapsing forever? Or is this the greatest setup the hip-hop world has ever seen? Whatever the truth is, the next leak is guaranteed to change everything, and that's why you cannot afford to miss what comes next. If you've been glued to every second of this roller coaster, then stop what you're doing right now. Hit that like button. Drop your thoughts in the comments and smash subscribe, because when the next piece of audio drops, when the real truth finally comes out, you're going to want to be here the very second it happens. Trust me, this story is far from over, and the biggest bombshell hasn't even landed yet. Stay locked in.